Okay, this is the Planning Commission meeting. It's being held on December the 11th because we had some weather problems on December the 2nd. There's one item on the agenda, but first let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does anybody, next on the agenda is the minutes of the November 4th, 2019 meeting. Does anybody have any additions, changes, corrections, etc. to the minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve minutes.
Second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so the minutes of the November 4th, 2019 meeting of the Planning Commission are approved. We only have one item on the agenda for this evening. It is zoning hearing board application, which is referenced first to this Planning Commission. It's Appeal 3051. The applicant is Villanova University. The property is located at East Lancaster Avenue and is zoned PI planned institutional. Just for anybody who's listening to this tape, in 1995, Villanova's granted a variance from the height requirements of the zoning code pursuant to Appeal 2224 for the construction of its Center for Engineering, Education, and Research. Now, with this new application, Villanova seeks a modification of the conditions imposed by Appeal number 2224 to permit an addition to the building which will not exceed the height approved by the former appeal. In the alternative, the applicant seeks a variance from section 280.69 point capital C of the zoning code regarding height regulations or such other relief as the zoning hearing board deems fit to grant. There's a limited purpose here for this review. The Planning Commission is involved only to the extent that perhaps this project does involve those areas of the code that do involve the Planning Commission. So without further ado, Nick, would you care to give us a brief presentation about what Villanova would like to do here?
Yeah, thanks, John. As the board knows, if this is approved, it will come back to the Planning Commission as a land development application by Villanova. We're proceeding to the zoning hearing board. If you look at A3, this is a map of like the relevant area of the school. Down here being Lancaster Avenue, here's Spring Mill, here's the main intersection here. As you come up Spring Mill, the SEER building, the engineering building, is located in this area here. At the time when we requested the variance back in 1995, we asked for two forms of relief. One was the height of 51 feet, and the second one was that the front yard setback of 120 foot along Spring Mill Road was being violated. We received both relief. Tonight, or before the zoning hearing board, we're not violating the front yard setback. We're actually pushing the addition part of it back further from Spring Mill, so no relief is required on the front yard setback. And what we're looking to do is build an addition that in some points will be no higher than the addition, the existing building. In other words, no higher than 51 feet. If you look at A4, A4 is the plot plan. And as you see, here's the existing building in the gray area, and the darker area is the proposed building. And you'll see that right here is the front yard setback, and the existing building is closer to Spring Mill than the required front yard setback. This building will be further back from the front yard setback than the existing building and further back than the actual front yard setback. As I mentioned, some portions of the building, the building will be 4 stories in height. Just to give you some views of what you'll be looking at, A16 shows the current. Here's, if you're familiar with the university, this is Tollentine Hall. If you're looking at the photo on the right, and to the left is the Sear building, and the rendition of what it will look like. You can see that it's coming closer.
That's A17?
This A17 is the proposed view from, and would be from Lancaster Avenue. As we see, it's going closer to Tolentine, is still preserving that front lawn view that you have from Lancaster Avenue as you look up at the schools. Additional views, the next view we have is from Spring Mill, and you see A14. Oh, it's Krista or Joe maybe. Are we doing a facade? Is the facade different than, it looks, it is consistent. It's more of the stone look
Correct.
that we have now throughout campus in the new dorms on Lancaster Avenue.
Correct, matching that aesthetic.
Okay. So A14 is the current view from Spring Mill Road. And again, here's the Sear building as you're looking directly from it at the gate there on Spring Mill Road. And then A15 is the rendition showing the stonework on the new building.
That gate that appears in both the photograph and the, on A14 and also in the drawing A15, that gate is normally closed. correct?
Yes, it is. That's the first one that you come up to as you're going up Spring Mill Road on the right, and that's normally closed. The next one is the one that is open and you can get into, you know, into campus from that gate and to the church as well. Looking again for some more views. And this is the view from Tolentine.
What number is that?
And that's, I'm sorry, John. A12 is the current view from Tolentine. And the Sear building is in the background there. And as I mentioned, you'll be seeing it on A13 with the proposed view. You'll see that it is coming closer to Tolentine Hall. And that's the view from in the middle of campus. I think it's, as you're well aware now, a lot of teaching is now done from a lab standpoint as opposed to the traditional classroom standpoint. And in particular in engineering buildings, due to the lab experiments and various other items that the engineering majors at Villanova do, they require higher ceilings. That's part of the reason why we need this height variance. There's other buildings on campus that you're probably familiar with that are also exceed the height. Bartley Hall, which is the business school, which is the hall, which is the building right across kind of from the pavilion. The St. Augustine Center, which is the middle of campus. Tolentine Hall, which is right next to this building, actually is higher than what this building would be. Mendel Hall, which is one of the science buildings backed by the train tracks, that's also higher. And the School of Nursing, which is probably a little bit in from 8th Avenue, is also higher. As you may be aware, the height restriction in the township calls for 38 feet, no more than 3 stories or 38 feet in the planned institutional zoning district. And for that reason, we're asking to be able to build this building, construct an addition to this building, which would be no higher than what it currently exists. For that reason, we're asking for a change of the conditions, because the condition on that building was, it was limited to the building that was being built. So since we're now adding an addition to it, we would need to change the condition or the condition of that relief, which was limited to that particular building that was being built.
Is the old building going to be substantially rehabbed or changed or altered internally or with a different finish or?
I'll ask, who is that a Joe or you?
Minimum. Partially, it'll be partially reconfigured, especially where it connects to the new building, and some functions will move from the old building to the new building and vice versa.
A lot of it is to consolidate. Right now, engineering is still spread out all over campus. A lot of this is to consolidate the engineering department into one building. And also, there's a lot of interdisciplinary type functions now between engineering and other aspects of the school that take place. So we're trying to put this all in one building And as I mentioned, there's a number of items and research facilities that require the higher ceilings for the lab space.
And your grade is pretty substantial there, so in other words, this height of this building is still gonna stay well below Tollentine Hall. So,
That's
I mean,
correct.
you're not gonna see it go any taller, even though it's gonna be pulling in front of it. And then the monastery, it's on its own acre of land, correct? Do you have specific offsets that have to be maintained?
On the monastery, I is trying to look back, 'cause this
It's all
came,
zoned
yeah,
institutional.
it's all zone plan institutional.
Okay.
And again, I know we went through this one other time with the Augustinians on whether, you know, who owns what in there.
It's all one parcel and it's all zoned the same.
Yeah, I believe it's all one parcel now.
Okay, they just own the building then, and the land, you don't have offsets you have to maintain from their piece of property.
Not that I'm
I don't
aware
think
of.
they own it
And our
anymore.
buildings are physically connected.
Yeah.
The monastery and Tollentine, the church are physically connected,
Okay,
so there's no setback or offset.
okay, thank you.
Before I ask the members of the commission if they have any questions, is there any public comment? Anybody here from the public? No?
They're going up.
All going up.
Oh, okay, all right. Any comments from the members of the commission? It seems to me
Seems
that
fine.
we're
Yeah.
really kind of neutral on this, especially since we're going to be seeing it again in our actual capacity as the planning commission. So if nobody has anything to add. Can I have a motion to, I think that most of us will just say, I'm sorry, Steve.
I'd move that we support I guess, what are we calling it?
The appeal.
The
Appeal
appeal.
3051.
Yeah, I move that we support the appeal to extend it. We're really expanding the original variance, right?
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. It's,
So, just to
unanimously
make
passed.
sure we're on the, so we'll have a memo from Mr. Lord. So it's gonna be short and sweet. The planning commission voted unanimously to support.
Appeal, zoning hearing at the board appeal 3051. Villanova University is the applicant.
Okay, so we'll send that to Mr. Lord tomorrow for signature, just so everybody's on board.
Is there any old business or new business? There being none, would anybody move for us to adjourn? All right, so we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming out. I know it'd be a quick